Hello everyone, I'm Hauke, Creative Director at Blankans, the studio behind Coreborn, which is a currently in development social survival sandbox game. I made a point of mentioning that as I think a lot of the people that are currently watching this might hear about this game for the first time, might see anything from it for the first time. So for you, I'll also give a little introduction of what the general idea of the game is, where we're currently standing, where we're heading, and what this is. Because this is one of the regular things we do. We do development updates. I think since the earliest of early days, we've even shown our prototype back in the day. So be prepared to see a lot of in development things. There might be placeholder icons that just say coming soon. There might be gray boxes. Things might break during these presentations. I am on the actual internal build that we are currently live developing in, basically. And so you're seeing this game in the state it is in currently. We've already had an alpha, and I will sometimes reference that. If you're interested in the alpha, watch the videos. There's been a lot of streamers who did videos on that. And additionally, you can join us on our Discord, which is linked in the description of this video. We'll probably also do an insert, and you can go to coreborn.gg, which is also our website, and there is an easy to find link. We're super active on the Discord. There's a community of over 10,000 people already that are regularly asking questions, interact with each other, and there's people who have already played this game and can give you some insight on what they felt about it, how much it changed, I think, since the alpha. I think it's only been 6 weeks actually. But anyways, I think it's time to jump right into it. Let me just check. Yeah, my microphone seems fine. I was a little concerned that I'm too loud, but it's actually fine. So, as I said, a little introduction of what this game is. We are in Coreheim. Coreheim is the center of this world. Basically, Coreheim is the home of the Ultracore, that thing up there, which is making a gigantic shield that protects this world from Sorgoth the Devourer. Basically, Sorgoth has attacked this world a few years ago, and they now built this shield generator. It has just been turned on in the lore of this world, or basically in the timeline, and we are Coreborn, this little guy. Please bear with us. As I said, a lot of in progress. This obsidian skin color thing is just an in progress thing because we're currently working on our character customization, because that is something that this game will have. You will have your individual character that is shared over several different parts of this world. One of them is the social hub that we're currently in. The other one we're visiting in a moment, that is a survival map that you share with several other people. And then there is adventures, which are kind of like instance dungeons or little fun games that you can play to acquire even more loot that you can then use and share over the other parts of the game. So, in this city, which we already had in the alpha, you'll be matchmaked with anyone who plays this game across your region. Basically, anyone in Europe, anyone in Asia, anyone in America, anyone anywhere who plays this can basically join this, and then you can interact with them and form groups. And then together you can visit a survival map. We will host those for you. You do not need to buy servers or anything. This is persistent worlds basically that we provide as we want to do something that is new to survival games. The idea of linking worlds through matchmaking that we take care of. I'll click on this guy. It will take a moment because I actually have to start up the server that I want to join. And we are now going to the survival map. You will be with around 25 players live at the same time on this map, and you share it. You share all the resources here. You can build towns together. We'll actually set up one, and you can go through different biomes. One of them is the farmlands that we're currently standing in. The forest is behind us, which is another of those biomes. You see the mountains in the distance, and we are actually now, and this is the first time you're going to see me cheat a little bit and see some in development stuff. Actually, I'm hiding it behind the camera. Very good. Basically, you will see me now go through one of the other biomes. Sorry for the lagginess, by the way. I have to play on the European server because of an internal build, and I am located in Asia, which results in some lags. But everything you see here, that is resources you can gather. The creatures you see here, they will attack you. You can kill them for their resources. These Chariva, for example, but they are a little scary for me right now. You can run around here and find flax. You can find wheat that you can put into crafting and other things. Like here's our crafting menu, for example. And I will also, and here's what you're going to see today outside of some parts of the map, I'll show you our skill system. There's been a lot of changes on that, and additionally I'll show some insights to the stability system, even if it is in an early stage, our stability system for our player building, because that is also in this game. But anyways, let me first go over the little visual updates on the map. Let us hope that the weather doesn't change, and there he is, beautiful. Let me just run up here and then get slower for a moment. Megalos has changed. That dinosaur that you see on the horizon, that is Megalos, one of the bigger creatures of the lore of this world. He carries a city on its back, and you can now actually see that, if the grass wasn't so annoying. So you can now see that there is actually a shape to him, he has color, there is some textures on him. We changed him visually a lot because we felt like it is finally time to make him a little prettier and prepare him for the upcoming beta. And there will soon be more infos on that beta, and also maybe by the time you watch this you already know more, maybe you don't, about a certain early access release date that we are aiming for. But anyways, let us continue. So basically we'll see him in the distance, as I said, work in progress, so don't be irritated by it being kind of obscured and not easy to see, because we are heading to those rocks over there. Additionally, just as a disclaimer, I already said it, there's a lot of in progress, this whole my camera is in the grass, it's just currently, we will of course fix that, there is a lot we're gonna fix. But while we are walking over there, I can already show you something, the inventory has changed. The greatsword is now actually here with the other tools in different slots. That was requested a lot, and we always plan to do that according to our players' wish, because you can actively participate in the development of this game. I'm not saying that, I'm not just saying that. You can actively go to our Discord now. We will reply to you within at maximum a few hours, most likely a few minutes. Let me just quickly close the menu for a moment, and want to hear your opinion on things. But let us continue on the inventory. We also changed the position of gear. We will of course shuffle this around. You see mouse overs, which explain a little bit what things do. You also see stats. Of course, all of those placeholders, please ignore them. What you can see though already is, once I take things out, you might see the attack power go up and down. That is a placeholder value. Nothing of that here is final, but just so you know. And there's also quick slots, which will also be something that I'll show you later when it comes to player death. There has also been changes on that. But we have just arrived where we wanted to go. We want to look into, or take a look at the hills here. I hope we get lucky with the weather. The weather system is currently in the reworks. There is a lot of very fast transitions between different zones, but for everyone who's seeing this for the first time, weather will not only have an impact on your character, but also on the things you build. It will have an impact on the world. For example, at night, different enemies might spawn. A storm might trigger enemies to hide from the storm, or even spawn only during very drastic conditions. The hills, where we're currently in, is a more warm environment. You see that even in the evening hours, because the sun is actually... Oh, is it rising? If it's rising? Oh, we're getting lucky. We're in the morning hours, actually. Which allows us to see the holotops, which are roaming around here. Peaceful creatures, as long as you don't attack them. Yeah, sorry, I'm backing up, little guy. They were originally actually planned to be very small. We are currently reworking their attacks, but the attack system is something I want to show you next time. Anyways, I wanted to show you this little area. But you see, it's now coming together nicely. All these trees are harvestable. They will drop a different type of wood. And that is also a good point to actually maybe show you that real quick, because we are reworking harvesting. Stuff does not drop to the ground anymore. This bush, for example, in the alpha, I clicked on it and there was a bag on the ground. I now actually grab it and it will pop up in my inventory. I got some plant fiber and some twig. And if I chop this tree, it will take me a while because I have a very shitty axe. It will now still drop a log, which will remove soon. And as I said, it's a lot of placeholders. It will look visually different. You might have noticed that now I have 3 wood in my inventory. And now I have 4 wood in my inventory. Items now directly go into your inventory. That is linked to the idea that different items do, or like different tools have stats now basically, which allow for better or worse farming. So someone with a better axe does get more resources from hitting a tree than someone with a shitty axe. And this is where I want to go into the skill system a little bit, which I will open right now. We actually implemented our skill system. I know it still looks confusing, it is still work in progress, but let us directly look into looking. Because you see, there's a tiny little bar here. I actually got some experience from chopping that tree. And if I now go over here and do some extra work, I'll just chop some more of them just so that I get more experience and you actually see some progress. You will see that I get experience. Oh, that was a nice bug. Good for me. So basically, I will get some experience from doing that. Maybe we can actually already see that. Let me check. Yeah, actually we reached that corner now, because the system, of course, is set way too easy. Experience is super fast right now just for testing. And as soon as I reach the first one, this dot will fill up, and then I get a milestone, which unlocks new recipes, new content. After doing enough of these, I get points, perk points. And then I get to these. This is a perk hub, it says here. And in a perk hub, I can spend points, like for example here, to gain more chances for rare resources while logging. I can more tools, which allows me an extra tool belt slot, because if you saw it here, the fourth one is still locked here. Then the last one is logging hoarder, increases the stack size of anything that comes from logging. I will go over all of the ones that you see and then explain a little bit further what the system is designed like. So I keep it as simple as possible. Basically, there is expertises, which are the ones with these corners, and there is perk hubs, which are the round ones. Whenever I do something that is connected to a certain expertise, for example, smelting or smithing, smelting or mining, then there is geocasting or logging, there's woodworking, and there's foraging, there's cooking, there is survival and hunting, and there is outfitting. You might have noticed all the ones here on the left that is more gathering related, mining, logging, mining, logging, foraging, and then the last one, survival and hunting, while these more set to the right ones are all more crafting related. And these reach more and more depth basically in what is smelting at some point becomes smithing. Mining is, and that is a special case connected to alchemy, where, for example, geocasting, because this is like geocasting becomes finishing, woodworking becomes carpentry, cooking becomes culinary crafting, and outfitting becomes armor crafting. With these, I get more recipes. I get more perk points that I can then spend on these perk hubs to get more bonuses, like, for example, more XP from outfitting. Less resources when I craft, the ability to make and wear novice outfitting and armor crafting clothes, which is like a special outfit that you wear to get even more of specific skills specific skills. Then you see these little arrows. This automatically links to this. And you might have seen within them, there's always one milestone and a second milestone. I know this is complicated, but it will seem so much easier once you're playing it. And basically, I will even leave out an essential part of this system, because let's just for now say you get better by doing stuff passively, and sometimes you can use points to get certain abilities or passive effects that you want for your crafting or gathering. But let's just say I would keep logging, then I would at some point have this perk up, I can invest a perk point, then it would lead to advanced logging, which would then at some point unlock forestry, which would allow me to grow trees, for example, which will not be in our early access launch, most likely, but it will at some point be. Then I get another perk up, and so on and so forth. Basically, it is a mix of I do something and so I get better at passive system, which unlocks new recipes and skills. And then at some points I can actively decide where I want to continue my journey. And you might have immediately noticed, because you're smart little weasels, that there is these arrows which lead to other rows. So technically from advanced smelting I could make the decision to go into advanced mining instead of going all this way, which allows for multiple setups throughout the skill tree. And I cannot stress this enough, that does not mean that mining is obsolete, because mining might, for example, at a second milestone unlock the ability to do something that you still need. This means that someone who is a very good miner will always have value for a town or community that does not have other miners, or even if they have other miners, you will always be better at it than people who don't mine. And someone who is very good at logging will, even with the shittiest axe that he's carrying, have a chance to, from these trees, gain rare resources that someone who has never logged a single tree or never put down a single tree, never chopped a single tree, will basically be, even with the best tool, not as good as me if I have the best logging ability, because I did it, or I did something to actually gain that skill. There will be a lot of questions about this. Again, please head to our Discord. There's a questions section. Just, I think because we had that so many times, try to not assume too many things from what you think it might be, but just rather ask so that I can precisely answer your question as good as possible. Because most of the questions there are super good, because people have so much understanding of the system already that it helps me so much if you just say, I don't know how this works. Maybe I'll ask this question first. You do not have to sum up all your questions. We answer them all and we take the time to do so. By the way, taking time. I will run over as quick as possible now to the next section because I've already showed you mining. We took a little brief look at this. This will even be made more interesting. This will become an event location, which I'll explain in the next video potentially again. What events are, basically kind of like social quests if people have played some Guild Wars, for example. But anyways, you see that a lot of this is a lot more polished. The mountains got polished. It's even starting to snow here. Let's hope there is no storm going on here. There is. What a shame. Still, we can see that there is. Oh, wait, there's a little bug here. We will still be able to see. Oh, damn, yeah, there's an intense sandstorm going on. We will still hopefully be able to see a little down there because there's now these canyons in the landscapes, which basically make a lot more interesting transitions between different zones because there is progression in this game. When you just saw the skill system, you might have already guessed, hey, that sounds very much like a typical RPG progression. But you can reskill and respec. It is, most RPGs offer that too. This is a survival game, but we borrowed a lot from MMOs. We borrowed some things from RPGs. We looked into crafting games, into simulation games in some points, and our combat system, I have to get away from this guy, is also working very differently. Also, sorry for the lag. As I said, I'm on the European server currently, not on the Asian one where I should be because of internal testing. Shame for the weather. I can't change it right now, but leave me alone. But I can still look down a little bit. From here we can kind of see it. Super cool. It's not even decorated yet, but we can see the holotops grazing down there. Really, really cool, unique environments. And there will actually be even more polishing. This is not even properly made pretty yet. Speaking of, let us run to an area that is made pretty and then maybe even set up a little house there because I want to show you the stability system. But also the sun is setting, which might be a good moment because if we get lucky with the weather, well, let's take the route through the forest. And you guys see that. Again, most of the things you see here, they are gatherable. That is maybe the biggest difference to just a regular MMO or to an RPG. We can technically settle down here, make a home, and do that with all the other players on this server. I will say this again. Sorry for everyone who's already heard this, but I will assume a lot of people see about this game or hear about this game for the first time. These will be towns. I'll set one up in a moment so that you understand better, which basically you save a space on this map so no one can mess with it, and there is no PvP. That maybe being the biggest change from other survival games you might have played. No, it is not the purpose of this game to steal a resource from others, kill them, or destroy what they have built. This is very corporational. That's why we put the term social in the survival part here. You get matchmaked with random people. You can still invite your friends. And you can just be very, very social in how you approach and how you play this game. Okay, perfect. We already see it on the horizon. There is the ruins of a city coming up. I think the weather will shift in a moment because we are again heading into a very, very dusty, stormy area. But let's do our best because we started set dressing a lot more. A lot of you might have seen that the mountains look completely different, for example. Maybe we'll find time next time to look into that. But what I want to show you is this war-torn environment here. Basically the ruins of a city. Also, it is getting night and a dust storm is breaking loose, so this will look even more intense. This has been attacked. We're getting pretty close to the shield. I mentioned that in the beginning. There's the Ultracore providing a protection, like a protective shield around areas. This one basically was outside of the shield for a whole while and has just been reclaimed. It would be our job to now help with that. Here's the shield. Everything outside it will get another effect. Even stuff out there is destroyed. You see a bridge in the distance. Super cool. This is basically the leftovers of the fight that was fought here. Hedonists were basically fighting for survival at that point until the Ultracore came and saved some of the environments here. But let me just run out here real quick. Luckily I know my way, so I'm not too set off by the weather. The weather will not always be as extreme in these environments. It will basically sometimes be this dusty, sometimes it might just be a different effect, sometimes it might be raining, sunshine, there is snowstorms, there's all types of different weathers, and with them comes different conditions that you can then adjust to, not only when it comes to building stuff, but also when it comes to interacting with the environment. interacting with the environment. Maybe that's a good way of transitioning into our next task, because now I want to show you something new. Is there enough space here? Let us just assume there is. So basically, let us now build a little town, because I want to show you something special that we just set up. This will again be very, very alpha-y and a lot of like things, but for anyone who's watching for the first time, as I said, you are absolutely able to, and I will do that right now, build stuff here anywhere you want. Basically, you build a blueprint, which then anyone that you give the rights to do so can come by, put resources in, and finish. Cool. You've set this up. This is here now. I can even continue putting stuff on it, put a little door. Oh, sorry, that was on the wrong angle. I can turn things around like this. I can even angle them like this. Every piece can also be turned around like this. Any angle that I want, basically. Let us do this for now. Tuck. And then I put a little window. Maybe I decide that it would be funny to turn that window even more. I can absolutely do that in the weirdest angles, no problem. Anyways, this is just for show, so whatever. But more importantly, and I'll delete all of this for now, I can now set up a town. I basically put this blueprint, do this, and then I mark a specific spot on the map. This is now mine. Within that town, people can join. I can add resources, trigger attacks, because these towns will regularly be attacked, which is part of the big content of our game. Like we will change the system. Now it has a timer that will not be a timer anymore. Direct feedback from you also, like a lot of people did not like during the alpha that they happened on a time basis. We'll basically now do it so whenever you do something in your town, add resources, build things, you have a wrath meter. So the more you do, the more that rises. And if at a certain point, if that attack is triggered, you can either lower it again, or you decide, you know what, F it, I'm gonna fight that attack now. But what I was about to show you was, more importantly, the stability system. Because let us now put this down here so I can show you. You do not only see that there is now this requirement and that there is a blueprint, which I can finish into an actual building, but there is also a color connected to these pieces. It is not perfect yet, but the color indicates stability. A light green, here for example, shows that this piece is very well easy to set up. Then there is a next color, which will be a little bit of an orange tone, which indicates that this piece, yeah, you can set it up. Let me just quickly do this, because we currently have that annoying thing with the grass. So I can basically put it there, but then it's not perfect. Then there is that red, which is already a light red, that shows, this is not ideal, this will take damage faster, not perfect. And then there is another red tone. Like I said, this is for showing purposes. You will not be able to build this far outside. I just want to show the system perfectly. And then, if I try to put something on that, it will just get more. I think this is actually the step there where it stops working. Oh, shit, I put the one set where this one infects it. But as you see, there's now the red parts and it's connected to each other. If I delete this, all the blueprints will after a time also get deleted. There it goes. And then you can not build sky-high towers anymore as you did in the alpha. And this will be more polished. So we currently haven't put any proper values in this system. Basically, the stuff is now, as you saw, I can build floors 7 in a row and whatever. That will not be possible. We will find a good way of dealing with that as we have different materials. For example, the stone one that will then allow for a more stable building, where if I set that up, I can then put more of these and they will actually have a solid green, not as you saw here, a light green, which is already an indicator of poorer stability. Like if you look at these two colors, you see a difference in them. If I, for example, set up the simplest one and put the wall on that, we'll see that it also has an even lower color gradient. It has red, which says, hey, this is basically almost the highest you can go with this, which shows they have different stabilities. So this one can possibly go 4 or 5 up in the sky. This one is almost already at its limit. Just to show you the system once. Also, have I mentioned that this is incredibly beautiful here? This is one of the areas that our level designers just decorated. Please don't pay attention to the weird looking trees. That is something that we're currently figuring out. And a lot of this will be gatherable, but it already looks quite nice and shiny. Speaking of looking nice, there is so many more areas that I could show you. There is like the Flarechite's Cradle, there is Connoisseur's Cove. A lot of these areas now get a lot of love, look so good. but I want to keep some of them to show in the next ones because it is visually just so easy to mix them in with other updates on the game. I just wanted to give a general overview of this is where we're currently at. We're working on a lot of these systems. The weather is currently being reworked. We're still working on the combat to show more. You've seen the skill system today, the stability system, even if it's work in progress. Finally, next time we might see a character that does not have some strange look, but actually the look that I decided to go with. Because, like, as I said, this like obelisk complete dark color is not intended. We will have a wide variety of skin colors in the game, different hairstyles, there's different facial expressions, there is different angles for mouse and whatever. I'll show more on that next time. But what is coming up? As I said, when you're watching this, or actually, if you're watching this, be excited for some big news. If you have heard the big news already while you're watching this, great that you're here, either for the whole time or that you freshly found your way here. I said it already, but I cannot stress enough, definitely join our Discord and engage with us. This is a live service game. We want to develop this with you guys. Early access is for us the most exciting way to do that because we can constantly funnel your feedback into this project. This is a social survival sandbox game, which means all these three aspects, all this newness that comes from mixing survival with kind of MMO-y approaches, with a player market and trading, with adventures and a progression not only in character but also in gear and your town that progresses with levels. All of that is very, very new, I think, to the way that survival games work, and that means we need a lot of feedback to flush it out, to perfect the idea, and to, over the month to come, over the years to come, hopefully, make this a game that gives as much joy to you as it does to us while developing it, because we have big plans for this. This is something that we are truly passionate about, and we hope we can share that passion with you. So join us on that journey. Great that you're here. Talk to you soon. Bye.